So, guys, I had a very interesting conversation, couple of interesting conversations on Discord, on a Discord server, with very kind and intelligent Muslims. So, the first conversation was about morality. Let's see what was said, and I will comment.
And morality comes from God.
Okay, but obviously morality must be objective, because otherwise there is no good or bad or anything. There isn't any value in this cosmos. Yes, exactly. So we all agree that morality is objective, but I claim that the objectivity of morality comes from its relation to the state of this world, let's say, or to our natural reality.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yes, that means that for something to be, I will give you now my definition. What I think objective means. It means something related to a fixed point of reference. I know it's not the populist definition, but I can elaborate what I mean.
What do you mean a fixed point of reference?
Yes. Let me give you an example. Let's say we watch a bench. We see a bench and two people sitting on this bench. If I make the statement that, let's say it's Mary and John sitting in a bench, and I make the statement, Mary is at the left of John, this statement is not objective unless I say from my perspective, from the point that I see the bench, Mary is objectively sitting at the left of John. If you go on the other side, Mary is at the right of John. So what I'm trying to say is that things can be objective, and that the only thing that we need for something to be objective is a fixed point of reference. When it comes to morality,
Okay, I mean,
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
No, yes,
you can finish.
and I'm finishing now. When it comes to morality, I don't believe that absolute morality can exist without God, but I still believe that objective morality can exist without God.
Okay, I mean, the concept you explained, it's still like, okay, basically, okay, if the person on the left is sitting from the person to the right, and you ask them, like, objectively, where is this person sitting? And yeah, that's gonna, like you said, is like relative to the subject, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Still, like, the concept of left and right is still objective. Yeah, so everything checks out that way, because the very concept it's about, like, how would you map this out on, like, an issue of, like, a moral nature?
Okay, how can you map this for a moral nature?
Because, like, the example you gave with the bench is like, yeah, there's no contradiction. It's just the concept of right and left. It just depends on who you ask in that situation. Like, who's gonna be left to what and right to what, and what you see.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be true given the context. Yeah, given, like. But okay, with morality, there can't be, from my perspective, this is good, and from someone's perspective, this is bad. Like, it has to be according to all perspectives.
This is the meaning of objective. Yeah, this is the meaning of objective. Objective means mind independent. So Socrates, when you said that you affirm objective morality without God, what do you mean here by objective? Do you mean by objective like mind independent, like the epistemic access, that everyone has an access to that morality or the moral prepositions?
Yes, so morality is objective, but it's not necessarily related to. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that we can achieve objectivity, and even if what we believe is not true. For example, if I make the statement that according to the devil, murdering people is good, that statement is objective. Although we all know that morality, murdering is not good in true morality, but still the statement that according to the devil, murdering people is good.
This is equivocation. This is equivocation. This is a fallacy of equivocation.
Where do you get
Because you're
evidence for
using the
that?
word. Yeah, it's not about the evidence. When we speak about morality, but we are speaking about a normative force. Like the point here, I'm telling you, like on whatever. This is actually the issue that you as
Okay, let's see what is the definition of the fallacy of equivocation. The fallacy of equivocation is a logical error where a word or phrase shifts meaning halfway through an argument by using a single term in two different senses, but treating it as if it was the same meaning. And yet, I didn't do that. I said the statement is true, although that's not true morality. So I never did the fallacy of equivocation. Let's continue.
an atheist or someone who is not religious has to deal with. When we speak about morality, we does not just speak about the knowledge of what's moral and what's immoral. We speak about the normative force. What is that normative force? If I know that this is the second stage and this is the second step, like let me tell you that you will do some philosophy, you'll do some gymnastics, you will reach by some ways saying and differentiating between what's moral and what's immoral. Okay? I'm asking you, why would I follow what you are saying if it goes against my best interests? What is the normative force? Why should I follow?
Okay, so first of all, you said your best interest, so that implies some kind of utilitarian morality, which is not the God's morality.
Yeah, I'm no, it's not utilitarian. I'm telling you, that's not even
Some of the worst
utilitarian.
sources of morality is the Bible and the Quran.
Guys,
I'm egoist. I'm egoist in morality, actually, or I'm a nihilist in morality. Whatever increases or maximizes my pleasure and decreases my pain. Yeah, this is what's moral. And what's immoral, what goes against me, even if it's on the expense of other people or other community. So I'm telling you now, when you speak about morality, it's not about the epistemic now. We're not speaking on an epistemic level. We're speaking on a normative level. Why should anyone follow your account of morality?
Okay, because my claim is that my theory of morality is true. And so I will give my definition of morality, which I believe is true. And this definition is morality is reducing unnecessary suffering and advancing well-being in this world. So that is my definition of morality.
Yeah, why would I do that? Why would I? I'm a person now. You made your theory, okay? Don't explain to me your theory, okay? Whatever theory you're endorsing, why should I follow it?
Because we get the moral weight and the moral urgency from the true definition of morality. If you like, I can explain. So, because we are putting out there many questions. First, it was the objectivity, then the definition, then why we ought to be moral.
Bro, this is me. You're now telling me how did you craft your theory? Okay, خلاص, I know that you crafted your theory. I know, like you put a lot of effort in it. Tell me, why would I follow your theory? That really beautiful theory that you made. Why should I follow it? Why should I endorse it?
Okay, so that
it goes against my best.
So the gentleman is very intelligent, and he makes a very significant now. Notice he notes that okay, you say what is morality, but why should I ought to be moral? This is a very good question. Is the ought to is difference? And my response to this, sir,
exactly,
is that you imply that we get the moral urgency and the moral weight from something like God, for example. Okay, but I will say that
I didn't say anything like that. I just asked you
Yes.
This is the is-ought problem. It's good that you discovered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking you, whatever theory you are making up, okay?
Yes.
What is the reason I should follow it? Just
Okay.
tell me, okay? You
Okay.
made a very good theory, okay? This is a very beautiful and airtight theoretical theory, okay? This is really beautiful. Why should I follow it?
Okay.
Give me the reasons.
And my best approach to explain this, I will do the best I can, and then you can say, you can
Go
give
ahead.
your. Okay.
Go ahead. I'll listen.
So morality is we recognize some kind of urgency and weight in morality. So if I say, for example, something that I believe Mary is 2 feet tall, that has no significance to us. Okay, so what if she's 2 feet or 1 feet? That doesn't has any weight or urgency. But when it comes to moral questions, we immediately feel this type of urgency and weight. For example, we should not abuse children. That has some kind of significance, some kind of moral weight and moral urgency. And now we get the old question. We understand that we ought not to torture children, for example. But I will claim, sir, that this ought derives from the suffering and well-being aspect, not from any other source. And we ought to do stuff because the well-being.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm trying to interrupt you just to save some of your time. What you are saying might be.
So my response to the old question is, first of all, if you don't believe, if someone doesn't believe that there is an ultimate consciousness governing the universe, you don't ought to do anything in an absolute sense. Now, but I still have to explain why we feel some kind of urgency and we feel a moral weight to certain questions. Which are those questions? For example, when I say I ought to drink Coca-Cola, someone will say, no, you don't owe to eat Coca-Cola. But when I say I ought not to abuse women, immediately now you feel, yes, he ought not to abuse women. What is the difference of those two statements? And why you feel in one statement you didn't feel any urgency, any ought, but in the second statement, the moral statement, you suddenly feel the ought? Okay, why is that? Because the moral statements have give the feeling of moral urgency and weight, but from where that urgency and weight derives? From suffering and well-being. And how we know that what I'm saying is true? Because now I just made a statement. Because you can go outside to the world and you can test, and that is always the case. For example, okay, I ought not to abuse children. Okay, now let's say the children, every time I abuse them, they become better people. Abuse them, they become better people, they become happier, they get well-being, they become successful, and they become true scientists. Then it loses the meaning. So you can take any example from this world, and always the ought and the urgency in morality reflects suffering and well-being. And that's how we know what I'm saying is true. Because how we know whether a logically consistent argument is in fact true, the only way we can do that is test with the empirical world. That is the only way we can test whether our theories are actually true.
Really good, خلاص, and this is really attractive. But I'm asking you the very same question that you stated yourself. You created a very good tool to show what is moral and what's immoral. Why should I be moral?
Okay, let me make you...
Immorality actually yields me a lot of benefits. Why should I be moral?
Okay,
give me some reasons.
Okay, let me give you a counter example. I will be very fast. Okay, let me give you a counter example. What if God came to earth and said that you should abuse children for the fun of it?
This has nothing to do with God, bro. This has nothing to do with God. I'm telling you, let's now assume that this is an atheistic word where there is no God. Okay, you are creating a philosophical tool that helps anyone discern or distinguish what's moral and what's immoral.
Okay.
Tell me, what is the reason? Give me any reason. Why should I follow this morality against my best interest, against my desires, against my own benefit?
Yes, but my claim is that because it's in your best interest, you should do that. Because you are advancing your well-being. But but let me be clear about my position in order for you to be able to attack my position. My position is that in my...
I don't want to attack your position. I'm not attacking. Actually, I haven't attacked yet. I want you just to give me a relevant answer to this. Because this is the thing that all people who, with all due respect, all people who are not religious, they're missing a very important dimension that is actually a part and parcel of the whole morality debates, the whole things that are related to the relations between people, which is the normative force. You are you're not being realistic. You're not being practical. Okay, you just say, yeah, this is the tool. This is the way how I can make the difference, or how I can distinguish between what's moral and what's immoral. Okay, thanks God, you got it. Tell me, why should someone in the first place be moral? If there is nothing that you would do to convince anyone or persuade anyone that he has to be moral, especially if your account of morality goes against his own interest and his own benefits, you're doing nothing.
Okay, I understand.
Because it will turn up and it will end up that you will try to impose it by force.
Okay, yes, I see what you're saying, sir.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, and you made a very good point, as I said before. So my answer is that in an absolute sense, we don't owe to be moral, but in an objective sense related to the human condition in this world, in an objective sense, we ought to be moral because we get this urgency and this moral weight from suffering and well-being. This is my answer. As close as I can do it.
When you said that we don't owe it to be moral, this is actually, and I like the that's really like, thanks for giving me that answer. But I'm telling you, like, this convinced no one here, and I'll tell you why. Because you're saying, yeah, this is about the urgency that we feel, and this is because we want to overcome suffering. I am telling you that your account of morality maximizes my own suffering. Like, why should I suffer for the rest of the people? I don't want to suffer. I want to maximize my own pleasure.
Okay. So now we made some theories, and they are both logically consistent. But now, how we investigate?
No, that's not logically consistent.
Yes,
it's not logically consistent, and I'll tell you why. Because this is actually. Let me tell you something regarding what's logically consistent. Alhamdulillah, I studied Arabic logic. Okay, and I know quite a lot. Alhamdulillah, I think that I'm well qualified to speak about this. People here do something. Okay, they create some formal systems, and they conflate and confuse logic with a formal system. Okay, they think that if someone had a bunch of axioms, and those axioms they cohere well, or they are consistent with each other, this means that this is the reality, or this corresponds to the truth. Like someone narrating or creating a novel. This novel is internally consistent, but who said that it reflects the reality? or it's really convincing.
Very well. Yes.
Saying that this is logically consistent, when you say logically consistent, the word logically here, I think that this is a rhetorical word that you try to convince the people in a polemic or whatever that you're making some points or making something. But I think that this is not enough. If we are speaking about morality, we're speaking about the ought. We're not speaking about the is. Okay. So if you are not making a very clear account, a very plausible one of why should someone follow whatever your mind tells you, so you are not speaking about morality. You're making a descriptive account of what you think is good or bad. Okay. So the normativity, it's a question of art, it's a question of normativity. Yeah, like, for sure, like he seems to be like philosophically educated, so the is art gap. David Hume spoke about it, and some other philosophers. But just think about the normativity question, and I will be happy to continue that conversation with you again, inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much. I will be very fast to say something. So you said again something very significant, which was what I was trying to communicate, is that we can make it. You said that we can make internally consistent arguments. That doesn't mean they are true. So my first step was just to describe my definition of morality and why I think it achieves. It qualifies for the old is question. But then, of course, I can give examples that reflect reality in order to substantiate my claim. And one of these examples will be like all the things that we feel the urgency and the urgency against is all the things related to suffering and well-being. For example. When I see our child suffer.
Socrates Son, can I just interject very quickly? I think like you're missing the point. Like you described like the human psychology that we experience the suffering being urgent. Like that explains why we feel the moral obligation, not really like why we are obligated, right? The question that he was asking, like for example, when you were talking about all these things, like okay, like it's an objective sense of something being ought to be the case, right? That it still is in the realm of like okay, like given the human preference and the psychology, right? Like this is how we tend to be, right? But he was asking like what makes that endorsement something like binding.
And the answer to this question is that the same way when I drink battery acid, I harm my health objectively. It's not an opinion. The same way this applies to human well-being. Human well-being, although it's not easily defined, and philosophers were struggling to define the true definition of well-being for centuries. Even though that's the case, still, human well-being is related with the hard nature, human nature we all share. Is not subjective. The same way when I drink battery acid, it's not subjective that I harm my health. The same way there are certain things that advance the well-being in the psychological and in material realm, or the philosophical realm, or the objective morality realm, that are related to the hard nature of humans and of reality. They are not subjective. Okay, so my point is, because people think that because we are different humans, and humans have different opinions, that means that everything personal is subjective. That's not the case. Because we humans have two types of nature. We have the hard nature we all share, the human nature, that is consistent to everyone. And then there is, on top of that, there is the personal preferences and opinions. It's not all personal preferences and opinions. If that was the case, I have the preference to jump from my roof and fly. This is my preference. But we all know if I jump from the roof, I will fall and die. So there are things related to human nature and the world, or as I call that, the human condition in this world, that are not subjective in the personal level, are still objective.
Right? It's not just something that is believed in and widespread, but what makes it the case that this ought to be the case, right? Why is it binding? So do you have a response to that?
Yes. So my response is that in an absolute sense...
Niggers.
Yes. Okay, so in an absolute sense, I will respond and I will say, in an absolute sense, we don't owe to do anything, because in my worldview, God doesn't exist, and therefore there isn't any, absolute overlapping consciousness that arbiters what we ought to do. So in an absolute sense, we don't owe to do anything. But in an objective sense, we ought to do stuff because suffering and well-being, which are objective, which are related to the hard nature we all share, we ought to do them because we get this urgency and we feel this urgency and this moral weight from the fact that morality is so significant in this world. It reflects real consequences of actions in the real world. So if I hurt a child, it's not philosophy, if I hurt a child, this child will have real consequences relating to the well-being of the child, of the world, and so on. So we get this urgency and this moral weight from the fact that suffering and well-being demands or demands this type of to be this urgency. So this will be the closest I can do to answer this very significant question, which is very difficult. Okay, I'm not saying that it will be satisfying completely, but this is my best attempt. But in the good, if I am to ask a counter question in order for someone else to start speaking, and but in the world, in the God assumption, where morality is kind of divine command theory or classical theism, from where we get the old question, because God said something and we owed God's stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, because actually, let me give you something. I think that this will be really educational and really beneficial even to theists or atheists or whatever. Actually, in a theistic framework, every single human has the reason to be moral. Like those who are too selfish, those who are egoists like Nietzsche or whatever, those who are looking for their just own benefit and they're just maximizing their own pleasure and reducing their own pain, they will have to be moral. Because they know that there is a punishment at the end. There is the hellfire at the end. And there is the paradise at the end. So actually, if they just care about themselves, they will have to be moral. Because this is the only way to be like this. Okay? This is for the egoist. And also, the one who is utilitarian, who just thinks about the good for the largest amount of people, or the maximizing the happiness and pleasure for most of the people, will also have to be moral, because we find that religion, even from an evolutionary perspective and point of view, it's actually like led to the survival of the communities. Okay, human is now defined as Homo religiosus. Okay, and if there is someone who is taking a virtue ethics account of normative ethics, he will find that it's really good to be an honest and to be a good man and to achieve all that virtues that we can reach by mind. And if you are taking a deontological account, like Immanuel Kant or even divine command theory, because it falls under the deontology accounts, yeah, he will find that there is an obligation. It's a duty. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our God, if the creator created your body, so you owe God a lot of things. And you feel that intuition that you have to obey God. The urgency that you mentioned is actually here explained. It's explained. So yeah, I should follow God. I should not harm his people. I should do this and I should do that.
Okay, in this point, I was not given the chance to challenge what he is saying. Okay, what is the problem? Sorry, I go close to the mic and it harms the sound. Okay, so what's the problem for what he is saying? Now he's saying that whatever is your moral theory, the believing in God is instrumental or fits to this moral theory. But not all moral theories can be true at the same time. Isn't that right? So he's using some kind of instrumental way to convince people about God. But first of all, he's misrepresenting his position. His position is divine command theory. And yet he says the God assumption applies to everything. No, it doesn't. Your view is divine command theory. It's not everything. It's not utilitarianism. It's not virtue ethics. It's not everything. It's a specific one. And the other thing he's making, the error he's making, is that by definition, morality cannot be trivial. So he is describing something trivial. That, okay, I'm doing something moral because I'm afraid of hell. But wait just a moment, that is not moral. If you are doing stuff because you are afraid of the consequences, that doesn't mean that by definition means that you are not moral. Okay, isn't that right? So let's say I give charity because I'm afraid to go to hell. Am I moral? No, I'm still immoral, even if I give charity. On the other hand, if I harm people but with good intentions, I'm still moral. For example, if I see two children drowning and I jump to the sea to save them and I accidentally drown them, I harm the world, but I'm still moral because my intent was to save them. Okay, so what he says fails in three ways. First, he misrepresents his position. Second, he says something trivial. Okay, so what I explained before, I cannot remember what I said. Okay, so let's continue.
Whatever person or whatever individual on whatever account, I have some reasons to give him so that he follow God or he become moral. But you don't have a single reason. Why should someone be moral if it goes against his interest? Because here it's in the interest of all the people. All the people, the selfish one, the one who cares about the community, the one who cares about himself, the one who cares about the virtues, the one who cares about the morals, the one who cares about the intuitions.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Wait 1 second. Just 1 second. Yo, Don.
Yeah,
what's
what's
gonna be
up?
the response to that sign, man? To
Huh?
that contradiction, man? What's gonna be the response to that contradiction, man?
Which one?
The one I posted in the side chat.
Sign of Jonah.
Uh,
Jonah.
Yeah, Mark
you did